welcome to Half Horse Tarot. I am here with your mid-month update for the month of September 2018. Before we get started, I just want to go ahead and say a couple of things. I've decided to change up the way that I decide to post videos. In other words, the order that I post them in. I'm going to start doing them based on how many views the videos from the last set got. So the more views that your video gets, the sooner I'm going to post your video for the next set. So additionally, I also wanted to remind all of you guys that I do have all of the September monthly videos up for all of the signs. So if you're watching this and it's not really making any sense or resonating, definitely make sure to check out your monthly video for September, because those readings are longer, a little bit more detailed, and you might get some more answers from that reading as opposed to this one. I've noticed that these readings have been not just shorter, but they've also been a lot more specific in terms of their storyline, so I figure they aren't going to resonate with as many people. And additionally, as always, if you're watching this and it doesn't make any sense, or you just want to get some more information, always make sure to check out your moon sign and your rising sign videos, because one of those videos just might resonate with you a little bit more than your sun sign. So with all that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with your reading. It looks like, actually, it's a really interesting spread for you guys, and it's going to be pretty different from how I read or have been doing the readings for some of these other signs. Basically, the spread that I used is a 5-card spread, and I interpret it kind of in the style of Lenormand tarot reading, if you happen to be familiar with the Lenormand style of reading. And your central issue for the rest of the month is the world and the upright, which is awesome. You know, the world is all about hitting the end of some sort of major cycle in your life. It's a sort of point of culmination. And for people, it's going to play out differently. For some people, it's like an elevation of a particular situation that you're in a positive way. So for instance, say that you've spent several years in a particular position at your job. All of a sudden, you know, you've been working really hard and you find out that you have been promoted to manager, supervisor, whatever it may be. And it comes with a, better pay or better hours or better benefits or whatever that may be. That could be some way that the world manifests. Likewise, if you're in a long-term relationship and you've just been dating for a while, and then all of a sudden, you or your partner decides to propose, and that can elevate your relationship up to a new level, and thus beginning a new cycle or new phase in that relationship in a major way. For others, it's like the permanent culmination and wrapping up of something. And it doesn't have to necessarily be negative. For instance, if you are in a long-term relationship and you've decided to end things, you're just finally wrapping things up and, tying up all the loose ends. And by the end of the month, or maybe possibly by the end of the year, just because this is such a huge deal with the world, everything's going to be squared away and you're going to be done and able to move on into the next phase of your life. So the world can play out differently for a lot of people, and it's just going to kind of depend on you and your particular situation. However, if you're listening to this, you're probably going to have a pretty good idea of what it is, just because the world is at the end of the major arcana, meaning that you had to have gone a pretty long way to get to wherever you are. So whatever is culminating, whatever is wrapping up, whatever chapter is closing, you're probably going to have a good idea of what that is, and also an idea of kind of what waits for you around the corner. But to see this here central to your reading, it says to me that there's definitely some major changes, some major shifts coming up for you guys. And I think it might just be a little bit jarring for some people. There might be the need to kind of like take a breather and recover a little bit. But overall, I think it's going to be a really positive change for a lot of you guys. So I don't really think that it's going to be a negative ending to a cycle, like a divorce or, like getting fired from your job or whatever the situation may be for you. It's still possible. So I do just want to throw that out there, that it could be a negative sort of ending, but I don't really get that sort of feeling from the rest of your spread. So the interesting thing about this is that, you guys are Scorpios, you guys are water signs, and I have both the Queen and the King of Cups showing up. Both are in the reverse. So I definitely think that this is primarily going to be your energy. If you're female, then you're going to be the Queen of Cups, and if you're male, then you're going to be the King of Cups. With both of them showing up in the reverse in your spread, it says to me that you might just be a bit out of sorts. Again, that makes sense if you are going through some sort of major life change or transition, wrapping things up in a very, very huge way. That's going to be really, really, like I said, jarring and almost destabilizing for a lot of people, especially on an emotional level. A lot of times, maybe you're feeling emotionally drained or emotionally overwhelmed with everything that's going on. If that's relevant to you, if that makes sense, then the focus for this month is to really just spend time on yourself as everything else is wrapping up around you. Don't let yourself get lost in all of the changes that may be going on. Take time to really focus on you and your mental health and your physical health. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and drinking water and all that good stuff, so that you don't get overwhelmed by any of the shifts that are going on. And that's going to apply for both males and females. Both the Queen and the King could be other people that you're dealing with. I don't really think that's the case, but if it is, I will just throw it out there. They would most likely be a water sign, sun, moon, or rising, male and or female, because we have both of the cards here. And the other water signs besides you guys are Pisces and Cancer. So if you're dealing with other people, they may be feeling emotionally drained. They may be emotionally draining you. A lot of times when these cards show up in the reverse, I usually see them as people who are emotionally manipulative. I don't necessarily get that being the case if they are, if these are other people in your life. But with the presence of the High Priestess next to the Queen of Cups, it can symbolize that somebody may be keeping secrets, or somebody may not be 100% forthright with you. I don't think in a very negative way. It's just a situation where you may not be able to 100% trust everything that this person is saying. And I think rather than overtly lying, they would be somebody who omits information. So if you are dealing with somebody like that, I would just watch out for them, and take whatever they say with a grain of salt. Additionally, because we do have both the Queen and the King of Cups, this can also be a relationship. It can be your relationship, and it doesn't have to be where your partner is also a water sign, although they could be. But with both of you guys showing up in the reverse, again, maybe you're just, as a couple, feeling really overwhelmed. Maybe there's stuff going on in your marriage that's really been taking a toll on you guys. Again, not in the sense that you guys are going to be breaking up, although some of you, who knows, maybe making that decision to tie things up and wrap things up permanently and just go your separate ways. I don't really think that's it. To me, it's mostly like you are entering a new phase in your relationship or in your marriage. Maybe you've bought a new house, or somebody just got a new job and now you're having to move, or whatever, some sort of major shift and major cycle is coming to an end, and you're about to move into something new. And again, that can be really overwhelming, especially on a marriage. And if this is your relationship, and if this does make sense in regard to your relationship, then definitely, again, like I said before, in regard to you guys just on an individual level, make sure that you're taking the time to focus on your marriage or on your relationship, that you're not letting everything else that's going on around you kind of overwhelm you to the point where you're neglecting not just yourselves, but also each other in the bond and the commitment that you guys have. So definitely make sure to keep that in mind, and don't be afraid to take some time out and do some R&R. I don't even know if some of you guys might want to go on a vacation. The world can even be about travel. So maybe taking a trip, or doing something of that nature where you just kind of have time to get away with one another, and just focus on each other. That could be great for your marriage, and really helping to heal things, and just to give you guys a bit of that rejuvenation that you may need if you're going through a lot of stuff. And so, I've kind of hit on almost the entire reading already, but you guys do have the High Priestess here. I did mention before that can be about secrets. This just says to me that there's a lot of stuff that's probably going on that you don't know about yet. You know, the High Priestess is the keeper of knowledge. She knows pretty much all things, and she's really, really picky and selective with what she doles out to people in terms of knowledge. So basically, there's just stuff that's going on in the dark that you may not be aware of. Doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but it's just a reminder that, you know, if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed or out of sorts, that there are things going on that you don't know about, that you can't control. And it's really just about remembering that as you're going through this change, as you're wrapping everything up, you know, you're going to be guided in the direction that you need to go. You know, you're going to go from that world into the Fool, into this new cycle. Everything is going to work itself out. You may not have all the answers. You may not be able to control everything, but it's going to be okay. So just keep that in mind, that there may be things going on that you aren't 100% aware of, and that's all right. And then also you guys have the Four of Swords here in the upright. It's kind of like the High Priestess too, because the High Priestess is also about reflection, really using your intuition and kind of going within to find some of the answers that you may be seeking. But the Four of Swords, you know, it's about meditation, recovery, taking that time out again, like I've mentioned before, just focusing on yourselves or focusing on your marriage if we're talking about a partnership here, and giving yourself some time to meditate and recuperate and recover and reflect, and just make sure that you're squared away on a mental and an emotional level. So again, you don't really lose yourself or your partnership or whatever it may be in some sort of shift or change that's going on. So you guys do also have, for your overall energy, the Four of Wands in the upright. So you have two fours here, and the fours are all about stability. And with this card being the overall energy for your reading, it says to me several things. First of all, the Four of Wands can be about engagements or marriages, celebrations, you know, etc., happy homes. And so again, we can be definitely talking about a partnership here, or like a live-in situation, or even, like I said before, maybe you've been dating somebody for a while and then somebody proposes to you, or vice versa. Or if you are engaged, you actually have the wedding, and that's what we're talking about, and maybe you're just overwhelmed with all the plans, you know, dealing with relatives and all of that stuff. That could definitely be the case. But if this doesn't relate to a relationship or some sort of celebration that you have going on, this is just about stability. Definitely in like a physical sense. So stability in your physical world, you know, with yourself and your body and everything that's going on around you, and just really being or feeling like you're on stable footing. So with that energy kind of overshadowing everything, it says to me that you're gonna go through this transition or this change in a very, very stable way, which is great. It's not gonna be as jarring or, you know, as cataclysmic as you may think it's going to be. Again, if you are feeling overwhelmed, just remember that you kind of have that stable foundation, that stable energy backing you up as you go through this change or this shift. So with that in mind, don't let yourselves, you know, freak out to the point where emotionally you're just out of sorts, or, you know, you're feeling again, really overwhelmed by your situation. You're going to be okay. You definitely have a lot of stable energy with both of these fours in your reading to really support you and back you up along the way as you go through this shift. And I did also pull an oracle card for you guys to give you a little bit more information about your situation, and you guys got to be gentle with yourself. Really just reflecting everything that I've already said in this reading. You know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you know, definitely I do just want to highlight again, really taking the time to focus on yourself, not just being gentle with yourself in the sense that, you know, you don't blame yourself or you don't feel guilty about something, or, you know, whatever that may be. You're gentle with yourself on an emotional and internal level, but also making sure that you're gentle with yourself in a physical and a mental and a spiritual level, and that you're taking the time you need to really make sure that you are in the best state of mind, the state of health, the state of being that you can possibly be. And that's just going to help, you know, smooth out your transition and really help you go through these changes in the most positive and stable and sure-footed way as possible. So all in all, it looks like a pretty great reading for you guys. Again, just don't lose yourselves in all of the changes that you may have going on. So, I do hope that this resonated with some of you guys. If so, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, shared, subscribed to the channel. And I do also want to take a moment to just thank all of you guys who have already watched all of the past videos, especially the September monthly readings, and have left comments and thumbs ups, and who have subscribed to the channel. I'm very, very grateful and appreciative for all of you guys. So with all of that being said, I will let you guys go, and I will see you in a couple of weeks with your monthly readings for October.